Hello everyone, today I'm in the east end of Princes Street in Edinburgh's New Town, and I'm going to go a wee walk from the Scott Monument to the Old Calton graveyard. But this here is the Walter Scott Monument, and it's absolutely spectacular. Built in the Gothic style and was completed in 1846 to a design by George Miko Kemp, who was a builder. And he actually never lived to see it finished because he fell in the canal when he was drunk one night. So I've just edged a little bit closer to the Balmoral Hotel, and you get to see a spectacular view over towards Arthur's Seat and the side of Salisbury Crags. That's the mountains in the background there. And then we have, you see the buses going up and down there, that's North Bridge. That was built in the late 1700s and then rebuilt in the late 1800s as the bridge collapsed. So as we walk to the end of Princes Street here, we are going to see the entrance to North Bridge, and I'm going to turn the camera around and you'll see the statue to the Duke of Wellington. And he was, so this whole area coming up is called Waterloo Place, and it's basically a shrine to the Napoleonic Wars and anybody that was killed in it, but we'll come to that more in a second. So there's a little view up North Bridge taking you up to the Old Town, and there we have the Balmoral in all its glory. Now this is where J.K. Rowling wrote one of her final episodes. I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan, so don't quote me on it, but she hired a suite and wrote one, I think something about the Deathly Hallows or something like that, I can't remember. Anyway, now this building here, this grand looking thing, used to be the General Post Office, and basically a few years ago they renovated it and built a glass building inside the framework of the stone building, and I think Microsoft have it, or have bits of it, but it's an absolutely stunning palatial looking building. And then we have Duke of Wellington on his horse Copenhagen, and here we have Register House. So looking down this road here, this is Leith Street, this is the road to Leith, and this here is the new St James's Quarter, and if you look round the corner there you'll see the controversial W Hotel, also known as the Golden Poo. So weirdo. Anyway, right, getting back to where I was. Now I'm going to head across here to the old General Post Office building, try not to get killed. And I'm going to take you across this little post here, rather insignificant looking post. And this here is, this little post here, is the dead centre of Edinburgh. Not a lot of people know that. And this is the Regent Bridge. This was built in 1819, because basically this bit of Waterloo Place just came to a stop here, and it was a huge gully. So transport coming from the left, from the east, sorry, couldn't actually get anywhere quick. So they had to follow the old-fashioned roads. So they built this here. This is one side of the road. 1815, I thought it was 1819. Yes, opened 1819. His Royal Highness Prince Leopold of Saxe-Coburg, that was the son of King George IV. And that looks down on Calton Road. And basically, if any of you have seen the film Trainspotting and Mark Renton is running away from the police, it's exactly down there where he gets hit by the car gently and then laughs at the car. Building the bridge. Now, where I am standing right now was a graveyard that went right across the road here, but they needed, like I said, an access road from the east. And if we turn round, you'll see part of the old Calton graveyard there. There's a few graves in there, and then the graveyard would come across the road, and then the actual main graveyard is up the hill. So that's the Old Calton Cemetery, and that's named after a little settlement that used to be here called Old Calton. So as we enter the cemetery here, or the graveyard, It's a remarkable day today. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're going to go up to the right hand side here to start with, and you'll need to excuse my heavy breathing because, like I've told you before, I'm not at my fittest. God, I'm knackered, especially walking through the snow. Now we're going to look at this tomb right in front of us, and this is the resting place of David Hume. David Hume is a famous philosopher and one of the fathers of the Scottish Enlightenment, and I think the sun is ruining the picture. So this is built in a non-religious style because he was famously an atheist, and he died in 1776 and asked for, it's of Italian design, and asked for no religious you know, like artifacts to be put on his tomb. So this is the resting place of David Hume, philosopher, historian, father of the Scottish Enlightenment, and a general like intellectual. Now to the right here we have a statue of Abraham Lincoln. Now why on earth would we have a statue here of Abraham Lincoln? So this is to do with 6 Scottish soldiers, or six Scotsmen who went to fight in the American Civil War, and they were quite religious guys, and they wanted to fight for the emancipation of slaves. I know if you just heard that bang, that's 1 o'clock, that's the 1 o'clock gun going off. Yeah, so they went to fight for the emancipation of the slavery, and they were killed in battle. And one of the ladies was given Sergeant Major John McEwen, his wife was entitled to a pension, a widow's pension, but the understanding is that she had to go to America to live to receive the pension, so she did, so she moved away. And this statue was put up, and it was given, I'm trying to remember the names, J.D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie paid towards the building of this statue. And if you see there, you see a slave handing up to Abraham Lincoln. There we go. And if you look here, you see the old American flag. See the old American flag there? Don't know if you can see that. And there you have like ferns mixed in with cotton, and then you have thistles mixed in with ferns, and this was the Scottish American connection. So as we come away from here, from the Lincoln statue, we're going to look at this big pinnacle here, and this is the Martyrs Monument. And this was some guys were voting for the rights of the ordinary man to receive the vote, and they were eventually deported to Australia. And the famous guy was Thomas Muir. He was one of the people who was deported, and it's got like one of his quotes on the side. Basically, to have a vote in the UK in those times, in the early 1800s, you had to either be landed gentry, own land, or, you know, it wasn't for the ordinary man. And what this is: I have devoted myself to the cause of the people. It is a good cause. It shall ultimately prevail. It shall finally triumph. How prophetic was that? What a wonderful man. So this castellated turret that we can see is the old prisoner governor's house of the Calton cemetery, Calton jail. And just in there was just to the left there was the old Calton jail. The only thing remaining today is the governor's house and watchtower, and nowadays it's the Scottish government that own it. So lots of beautiful tombs here, and this graveyard goes down. There's Daniel Stewart here, founder of Daniel Stewart's. Daniel Stewart's Stewart's Melville is a famous school in Edinburgh. Exchequer, founder of Daniel Stewart's Hospital. Robert Kay, architect. It's a wonderful little graveyard this, and it's just off the city centre. It's fab. And you can see the back of David Hume's tomb. Look at that one there, just stuck randomly in the middle. Francis Howden, Alexander Murray. And then as we come down here, I'm going to lift the camera up. You can see right across to the castle, the old town. And then we're going to walk down here. I just want one more grave to show you. It's the grave of William Blackwood, and he was a famous publisher and bookseller in Edinburgh. And he started off in from humble beginnings, and went to Glasgow to train as a bookseller, and then came back to Edinburgh, opened a bookshop in Southbridge, and then Princess Street, and then George Street. And he had a magazine called Blackwood's Magazine, and this is his tomb here. Now you can see he was a person of standing. If you look at the stonework on his grave, isn't that spectacular? See the rows? Absolutely spectacular. And this is the tomb of William Blackwood, bookseller in Edinburgh. So as we look across the road here, you'll see like an orange house, and this was the studio of two pioneering photographers called David Octavius Hill and Robert Adamson, and they invented a calo type of early type of photography, and that was the house they stayed in. I mean, the house dates to the 1750s. It was in there. So as we move away from the rock house, we look up towards Calton Hill, and you can see the pillars of the Dugald Stewart monument, and just behind that you can see like an old rubble type building. That's the observatory house, that's right next to the city observatory. And then to the right hand side there you can see the Nelson's Tower, and that's a memorial to Lord Nelson, who was killed at the Battle of Trafalgar. So we just walked up a little bit from Calton Cemetery, and then we'll come to this big building here, and this is the site of the Old Calton Jail. This is the Scottish office. This is St Andrew's House, and it's built in the Art Deco style. So as we come round from St Andrew's House, we're treated to an absolutely spectacular view, like panoramic actually. So I'm going to turn the camera around, and then the first one we're treated to is this one here. This is the Royal High School, and that was built in the mid 1800s to replace the old High School of Edinburgh, which is in Infirmary Street. And this is basically the people, the powers that be don't know what to do with it, so it's been lying derelict for a few years. So hopefully they'll get their act together and get this into a better state. And then if you look at St Andrew's House here, this gives us a fantastic view of the old town. You can see the crag and tail of from the castle. You have where it rises and then comes right down the Royal Mile, and then we're down looking over Canongate Kirk, down to the resting place of Adam Smith, and then right down I can just see the Scottish Parliament and Holyrood Palace, and the view of Arthur's Seat here is absolutely spectacular. So that's Arthur's Seat, the sort of pinnacle in the background, and in front of it the sort of 45-degree angle that is Salisbury Crags, which is basically a lava pour from the volcano. So Arthur's Seat is an extinct volcano, so that's how that happened. And it's a huge slab of dolerite stone, very good for paving. So you can see the mix of the old with the new. There's some new buildings down there in New Street, rather appropriately named New Street. So there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my tour of the east end of Princess Street, Waterloo Place, and the start of Regent Road. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and that'll encourage me to make more. So thanks very much for watching, appreciate it.